Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, bitter family dispute ends with a fatality. British foreigner among two St. Andrew men gunned down in separate incidents. A bitter domestic dispute between relatives is believed to be at the center of one of two gun murders that occurred within 24 hours of each other and kept the crime scene detectives busy in the St. Andrew North Police Division. In the first incident on Monday night, relatives stumbled on the bullet-riddled body of 32-year-old Fabian Carr at his home in Berkswood District in Rockhall, St. Andrew. Reports from the Red Hills Police are that about 8 p.m., relatives became concerned after not being able to contact Carr for some time. He was last seen alive about 8 p.m. on Sunday. Carr's brother told the news that the family is not handling his death well, particularly as a relative who has not been seen since the discovery of the body is a suspect. The person suspected of the crime is our cousin. His two brother pitney them. In the day they had a fight and Carr beat him up. Him and him did have a little conflict Sunday in the day, and then him go back for him in the night. I think a 5 shot him get. It's a talking point to the community up there, Carr's older brother said. The family is torn and some are in disbelief over the developments. My father is not handling it well, up here drinking and smoking, and him let go those habits about 5 years now, and now him start back. Him not take it well at all. They can't find the suspect. Police are look for him. He's nowhere to be found right now, the brother said. He said it was another cousin who relayed the dreaded news to him. The police were called, and when the lawmen arrived, the crime scene was processed and the body taken to the morgue to await a post-mortem. A blood, so me feel it, man. Not because we no grow up together, Carr's brother told the news. Crime scene detectives were at the Rock Hall location when they were summoned to Belgrade Heights early Tuesday morning, where a British man, 42-year-old Nicholas Collins, had been shot and killed at a house. Reports are that about 12:03 a.m., explosions were heard at the premises and the police were summoned. Collins was found inside the house with gunshot wounds to his upper body. He was assisted to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigators are urging anyone with information that can assist with both murder cases to contact them at 876-945-8270, Crime Stop at 311, Constant Spring Criminal Investigation Branch, or the nearest police station. Meanwhile, the St. Andrew North Police Division has recorded 8 murders as at March 15, a 14% increase year-on-year. This is one more than the 7 reported during the same period last year. The division is also experiencing a 55% increase in shootings since the start of the year. Troop accused of creating hysteria over reports of dumped meat removed from Landfill. There was a heated exchange between councillors Charles Sinclair and Michael Troop during the St. James Municipal Corporation's monthly meeting last Thursday over Troop's insistence that persons are reportedly removing spoiled meat from the retirement landfill despite the health department having no such reports. Troop, who is the councillor for the Granville Division, steadfastly maintained that the allegation was true despite the acting chief public health inspector Sharika Lewis's assertion that policies are in place to ensure the responsible dumping of food items. Meat being disposed of at the retirement landfill and that meat being sold and used in the market and the food handling establishments in the vicinity of the landfill, the St. James Health Department has not conducted any disposal of meat or any other foods since the start of this year, said Lewis. I stand resolute that the health department provides supervision from the point of condemnation to disposal of any condemned food item. Troop, in reply, said, I spoke to an official at the National Solid Waste Management Authority and I have spoken to residents around there in retirement and they confirmed that meat was dumped at the retirement dump. I do not know if it is a private individual who is responsible, but meat was dumped at the retirement dump. I listened to your report and I am still convinced that there are some irregularities taking place at the dump. However, Sinclair, the counsel for the Montego Bay Northeast Division, took Troop to task, accusing him of spreading hysteria without evidence of his claims, a charge that Troop did not take kindly. You do not come into a meeting that is broadcast to the public for the purpose of creating hysteria. That is irresponsible. You know what my responsible approach would be. Either I am going to verify it or I am going to report it to the relevant authority for them to verify it, said Sinclair. I am a liar, is that what you're saying? And not too pleased, the Troop asked. I am not saying that you are a liar. I am just saying that you are creating hysteria without evidence and you are supposed to be responsible, Sinclair shot back. The dump is an open space and the people are dumping there, and they dump morning, noon and night. I am telling you that meat was dumped at the municipal dump in retirement. Go there and find out for yourself, and do not come bullying anyone here, Troop said in response. Meanwhile, LaFane Wigan, the community relations officer at the NWA's Western Parks and Markets Limited, said while her organization has not received any such reports about dumped meat being removed from the landfill, checks would be made to provide an update for the next meeting. Reports of dumped meat being retrieved and sold to unsuspecting persons are not new or unique to St. James. In 2015, news surfaced that vendors in Kingston were collecting rejected meat from the Riverton City disposal site and selling it for as little as $110 per pound. The practice was said to have continued at that facility up to 2018. The Food and Drugs Act makes it an offense to sell food deemed unfit for human consumption. Any person found in breach is liable to a fine of up to $1 million or a prison term of up to 12 months. Trial judge raises concern over media coverage. High Court Justice Courtney Day, the presiding judge in the trial of 3 police personnel implicated in the 2014 beating death of Mario Dean, is urging members of the media to be mindful of how they disseminate information pertaining to the case. Addressing the Westmoreland Circuit Court prior to adjourning Tuesday's 7th day of evidence in the trial of Corporal Elaine Stewart and the constables Juliana Cleavon and Marlon Grant, they said that there are reports about witnesses in the matter conducting interviews while the trial has been underway. There is a concern about witnesses who have given evidence giving interviews to the media after giving evidence. The concern would be that if witnesses make certain comments or opinions, then that can lead to a matter that can be prejudicial either to the prosecution or the defense, said they. The policy is that the media should exercise care in interviews given by witnesses during the trial, and the media should exercise care in putting out the names of witnesses and other parties. The trial is a public trial, but they should exercise care in putting out the names of the parties, added they, who noted that no specific complaints about breaches of court policies have been made. They also noted that while he was making a distinction between traditional news media and the social media, he has to ensure that the 3 defendants' rights to a fair trial is upheld. I do not really listen to social media, but a lot of commentaries and opinions are expressed that could be prejudicial to one side or the other. The judge has a duty to ensure the trial is conducted fairly, and a lot of self-monitoring must be done by the media in a case like this, said they. The judge made his comments shortly after Deputy Superintendent of Police Kevin Francis, whose evidence-in-chief was previously stalled due to illness, retook the stand to complete his testimony for the prosecution. Francis, who was the commanding officer in charge of the Barnett Street Police Station in St. James, at the time Dean was beaten while in custody at the station on August 3, 2014, told Tuesday's hearing that he gave 2 statements to the Independent Commission of Investigations on August 9 and September 10 that year. He also testified that the security camera system at the Barnett Street lockup, which was referenced during his previous testimony on March 7 this year, was inconsistent in terms of its functionality during the period leading up to August 3, 2014. The court also concluded the cross-examination evidence of Corporal Orville Williams, the sub-officer at the Barnett Street lockup, at the time Dean was brought into custody on August 3, 2014. Williams testified on Tuesday that he left Dean on a bench in the lockup's processing area while hoping that Dean, who he had previously described as uncooperative, would eventually cooperate with the police. Additionally, the prosecution served a document bundle to defense attorneys Martin Thomas and Dalton Reed in relation to the deposition evidence of a witness who is now deceased. The attorneys are expected to peruse the documents by the time the trial resumes tomorrow. Stewart, Cleveland, and Grant are on trial for manslaughter and misconduct in a public office under allegations that they were the police personnel on duty at the Barnett Street Police Station lockup at the time Dean was beaten. Dean, a 31-year-old construction worker, was admitted to the Cornwall Regional Hospital in an unresponsive state and died 3 days later. Stewart is also charged with perverting the course of justice for allegedly ordering the cleaning of the cell where the beating took place before Indicom investigators arrived. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.